Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Um, this is going to be another good presentation. So I'm going to start off with a little off-the-cuff analysis of some footage from China, and then I'm going to talk about China and imagination. You know, the victory has already been won, so the stops are being pulled out, but this is going to be good. So this particular video snippet, I studied this for quite a while. It clearly looks authentic, and it's a giant. You know, you'd have to say 2 arms, 2 feet, fingers are correct, comfortable disposition. So, go human. Unless, you know, Garthans are of a different proportion. Anunnaki, I don't know. Because after studying this for a while, it indicates to me that this would be China in the times of Chiang Kai-shek, which is pre-Mao. So call it, I'm guessing, but after 1900 and before 1935 is this window in China. So it's before communism took hold. Essentially, it's a free situation, unless those people were ordered to do that for that man coming by. And the soldier on the horseback looks like he's rendering a salute. So this Thanksgiving Day parade was walking on the ground. And it's very interesting to see that time in history that clearly was there, and know that David killed Goliath with a slingshot. But that gladiator doesn't look like he wants to sumo, but he would win over whatever Japan had to throw out. And that's not Japanese, that's Chinese. Okay, that's Chinese language. So it's interesting, just to make note of it. So my brother Sam, the illusionist, had me take off. Talk about a lot of things, and out of respect and reverence to him and his process and what we learn, I want to quickly differentiate. You know, this red stuff is a combination of the China artificial sun, and I'm going to have a lot of interpretation that goes with it, because Metatron can only, there are rules that he has to play by, and he used the word supposedly, which is important as a word for what's supposed. But this thing is very wide in scope, and I'm gonna try and clock it in for you. So Sam channeled Metatron within the past 24 hours, and as we know from what we've learned about consciousness, it's present in our sun, our solar system sun, as well as the grand central sun. From an alignment perspective, there's conscious management that's going way back, and coming forward at us to wake us up. So, in a matter of status right now, we were told that the negative rising, like they're not giving up. They're trying to stop our ascension, just like Lemuria, and to distract us from awakening. You know, we're on our way, and 31 January was another day, and everybody's getting with the program from that perspective. So, upon scanning our planet, very positive in the numbers of, hey, how are we going? Let's add it up, Metatron. Where are we? Very positive. First negative, dark, you know, with the components of how they're going to try and keep us from getting out of here. You know, because this is what they're doing. The hate, the anger, the jealousy, and they provoke it so it's in you. And then you are it. Because they flip you. And so, you're a product of their goals. So, that said, I'll talk more about the issues with China as I understand them, which is overlaying on what Metatron has told us as far as the PSYOP goes, because these guys are PSYOPers. Everybody knows that there are 13 illuminated bloodlines out of Solomon, and there are family names that you can trace to them that are playing in this game of the storyboard. And, you know, names like Kennedy, but they changed their names too, because Bush, you know, they cover themselves, but they trace where they need to trace, and Trump is a part of it too. But as far as the bigger family lines go, China gets a swing at the plate, the dragons. And so the name that's tied to that is Li or Lee. So you got Li. And I'm just suggesting that Henry Kissinger came back with pandas. And so, because Nazism moved to the black CIA, and we lived through it in America, that's all tied together in the slide to the left across the Pacific. And what the power brokers are doing, because China dug its way down towards Antarctica from their place, buying islands with their money and telling them, look, we're going to put you where you need to be with airstrips and Mr. Mayor, Mr. Island native. So take our 5-year plan because we're doing it. And they did. So they're beating their way down to Antarctica so that they're in position to function and take over, or it isn't taking over, they are joining the Legion of the Sun, the Black Sun. So they want an artificial one. Because, like, the dark side is lost, so they're going with, you know, false light. Call it Luciferian if you must. And what I would like to do is make a huge backup, because I'm going to talk about what's going on here. And I just want to jump over to the positive side. Because on the positive side, I'll get a little bit personal. You know, I resonate as Knights Templar. And I'm doing what I'll call an intelligence recap, along with some predictive intelligence. So, as such, William says, I did win $100 on Trump winning in 2016, and my friends in Dumaguete will recognize that. There was a guy named Steve that felt that he was shocked because he was a socialist. So he knew that Hillary was supposed to get it, and he couldn't understand why that happened. And I understand him. I just know Donald Trump. Everybody knew My friend Don will tell you, boy, Billy said some weird stuff about Trump being shot in the head. Something's biblical's gonna happen with him. 'Cause I just knew. It was time. It was Tuesday. It was Donald Trump Day. And it was time for him. Because he told Oprah he was going. So he was in. How is he not gonna be in? How do you watch TV and not know Donald Trump's gonna be in? So, on the flip side, I must confess, I lost $100 on Bill Gates to a man named Charlie, who's a bettor. He's a logical bettor. I don't know who'd go double or nothing on me. But in terms of gambling, as I see it, I broke even on gamble, because Bill Gates did not Corpius kick off. He renegotiated wherever he's at. So he's with Genghis Khan somewhere as Bill Gates, the poor human who double dipped. His high self went to storage somewhere. And hopefully there's progression, because the good news on Gates is doesn't sound like he's got a Martian point of origin. So whatever's whipping around on Mars, but we'll talk more about Gates over here. China, because Bill Gates does China. So, speaking of unity consciousness, well, let's stay on Gates. Because I like recovery. It's recovery. See the way it's going? Here's what happened. Kim Goguen is an asset. Kim Goguen. G-O. Gwen. Gwyn. Kim Goguen. They call her Kim Possible. She's adamantine. She's adamant. She's got the DNA. So, because of that, just stayed quite down to earth and worldly about inheritance. Bill Gates got tasked to redo Azure, because all the businesses dumped their knowledge into knowledge management of Azure. You go look at the Dewey Decimal System of Azure, and you've got the Marduk matrix of payment electronically managed by that. So the reason Gates is busy is because Azure went like this. And this is why I'm saying, you want to bet? Because she owns it. And she's patiently waiting, and she's building from the ground up. So that's what's going on with Bill Gates. He's got a problem that he's got to work on over here. And hopefully he's still smiling, and there's some level of recovery. But Bill Gates is not from Mars. What we were told to, because I stayed with Blue in what Metatron had told Sam initially, is that we're heading to unity consciousness, as we know, but each of us has a unique piece, because we are from a universal point of origin, as we know, and it translates down to our personality and the choices that we make. So, losing ego doesn't mean that you lose your personality, because that'd be like losing your smile. So you keep your best version of your behavior of a high self aligned, and things egoic are properly discerned. And what are things egoic? Well, they're over here. This is the beatdown that you need to do for yourself. What are you mad at? Why do you hate? What are you scared of? You can't even admit that you don't know what's going on. You're so scared. And when you do admit it, you're still wrong, because you Got it. So you need to stop thinking, because you just do. Because once you surrender to the creator to put a good story together, then you get to work through it. Just stop thinking. Say, hey, I have good help. I have guys that'll help me out, because I have PTSD of the madness of my life and the lives I lived before me, to get to a level of, you know, severity. So on the bright side, well, I just did describe the bright side, that we all have personalities and choices, and we can go best version and have the parish picnic for everybody and the reunion of everybody. You just have to get with the vibe, with the good vibration. Saint Germain told us, just keep the vibes going, the Beach Boys, the harmony. Once you recapture it in this day and age, because you got the t-shirt, don't let it go. Just hang on and keep it going, because we're waking up. So back to me. Speaking of waking up, I broke even here. Now, Russell Gould, whom I've spoken of in previous videos, he is a man of lore who's stepped in and captured the flag. So I called it checkmate, because he's the chief who isn't there to be in charge. He's just holding the flag. He's a postmaster. A chief isn't the king. A chief, I don't want to extrapolate on terms. He's the postmaster general of our country and the world, of that storyboard. And I'm trying to do the analogy, because I'm going to get back to Kim. But these are two eyes. Here's your pineal gland in the middle. It's you. So he's gold. Because without you, there's the true value of gold. It's this guy right here. He paid 1 gold coin to get what he needed certified back in postal mail, and it made him the guy who owns our flag. And whether or not Bush got it taken from him, Bush might have known it was coming. Nothing he could do. They don't care. Hillary didn't care. What does it matter? They were going to do 9/11 anyway. But he's got our flag. And I, for that reason, say he deserves merit. And when we hear his message and we join in the cause of us, because he took the beatings and is smiling to say, I got it. You want to join it? Let's word it correctly. And he's willing to listen. Finally showing up for the proper rendering of humanity. Unity consciousness will be attained in words on this document when it's revised, because we'll know what to say. We'll have the perfect syntax without tax. See it? Sin, S-I-N, Espanol, syntax. Now, our word derivatives from the geniuses that he knows may have a different interpretation. I can almost see him pondering this and respectfully disagreeing. As a man of integrity, he would have to say that did not mean without tax. But I don't think he would. And it's forthcoming. Perfect syntax is forthcoming because we know how to structure it, because of his sacred partner who blew the Masons out of the Pythagorean classroom of word management that we all thought was Babel. But it's not, because we can have perfect syntax and not babble. That tower of lore can be repaired through words. Let's make them living, because it's us, and we're never going to die. Now, Speaking of, Kim Gogween, who Bill Gates had to roll to, and Marduk got zapped. Marduk, Anunnaki, Marduk, a person who we'll see pictures of somewhere, someday, as an elongated being that hung around way too long. Must have taken pictures of him. So, if I really try and figure it out, it's possible, but I'm be figured out later. Got too much other things to do. Like try and entertain you guys during these times of watching things that must be told in colorful pictures by a man like me, by the likes of me. William says, Knights Templar and coconuts are good for you. And Trump. So, let's go back to what's occurring on this illustration. The Hopi. We kind of got into some time management here just to sweep us in to where we're going. Because the analogies get stupendous down here, so we just gotta pretend that doesn't exist right now. Or that it's under my hand. Pretend it's under my hand. Oh, it is. So here is a man, a Hugh man. He must be lit because he's got extra things hanging. You know, this is Quisp, but he's got a pineal gland. Looks like a look, but it's only one eye that's looking from behind too. And you didn't know that till I told it to you. Now you can look at it and go, whoa. The visual matched the understanding. And the symmetry is amazing. How'd he do that? Well, I did it by drawing it, and I did it by understanding that the Hopi are special people. And there are beings that look something like this that were edified in their stone a long time ago with precision and rudimentary accuracy that makes you go, whoa, wow. Who did this? Who did this? So it's out at the Hopi, and we know about the Hopi and the 13. So there were 13 illuminated bloodlines. 13 got to go down to free up the Agarthans. You know, just go, okay, what's an Agarthan? I don't know. I don't think that's Agarthan. Because Agarthans are running in a parallel universe, if time is a dimension. I mean, they've been defeated. The reptiles have been defeated already on the inner Earth side because of the success of the Hopi, who received GMO upgrading to high self in order to win humanity potential by winning inner Earth. Because that's what happened. And then they were shown back to the three maces in America to be a part of our story. And then we're told, turn the other cheek, survive, be nice, be models of humanity, and you will be recognized as special, because they are. So we're coming together now as one race, unity consciousness. I'm using the Hopi as an example, but go with everybody who's in the party culturally. Go cultural, just so you can, so I can provide entertainment, because it's coming. So here's me. I'm back up here. Remember, I won $100. I'm going Judas. We're going Judas down here. It's happening. You got Kim. You got the Chief. You got the Lions. The Lions of Judah. 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 Shoot her. Her? Francis? 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 Francis was a fish. Age of Pisces. Have you introduced woo-woo in the machine? Who is this man? Why is his nose so long? Could that be a coincidence? Well, let's skip back to Judah, the lions of Judah. Who is this Judah? How can I meet him? Who is the lion? Is he regulated under a 4-star conjunction? He might be. But let's talk about Judas. Let's bend it. Let's bend it to the money. Did that man not hang himself after he did what he did? Let's ask ourselves. Did he lie? Did Judas? Did he lie? Did he steal anything? Okay. Well, he birth controlled himself without the birth control glasses, so there was a vision problem. But he was given the prescription at the Last Supper to go, get it done. So, because of the tree, he was demoted to bishop by suicide. It happens, because you're coming back. Reincarnation means born again. So, suicide is just a demotion, in his case, to bishop. Judas. I'm just saying. The possibilities are probabilities. Because he was a betting man. He was the treasurer of the unit on the road with the fishermen. And our brother was performing miracles. And, money's money. And long shots are long shots. And rich Hebrews are rich Hebrews. So, somebody's gonna make a buck. Huh? Come on. Come on, Jacob. Come on, put it up. Put it up. He's not gonna do that. What? He did it again. I'll be struck blind. Don't talk like that. Shh. We got it. We're on a roll. So we had the dinner. He said a bunch of good things, and I was thinking, I'm going in there. We are going to hit it hard in that set. And he said, hey, go do it. So I don't want to digress, because the story's been told. You can read it in the Bible. And he did what he did. And the rest is the rest. But can we not say that our brother loved Judas? That somebody had to do it. And somebody's been accounted for. They elected themselves to do what they did. And the self-evident, somebody made a mistake. Someone made a mistake, and the thought of it being him, and the man he worshipped being the one he kissed, that, he didn't deny him. He authenticated him. This wasn't artificial. Yeshua was not denied, unless the kiss was fiction. Kiss. The clown faces. The guys. They're rockers. They're cool. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm not judging anybody in the band of Kiss. I'm just suggesting that you can work with the stuff. It doesn't take too much to say Judas. You could say he was a treasure pirate, because he was out there making it work on his flagship with the men, the fishermen. Because we were in the age of Pisces. And look at the bishop's hat. So he got demoted to just a fisher, kind of. Come on in, eat it. Eat it raw. You really gotta believe it. You gotta believe it. Believe it. Believe it. Believe it. You're Carbon Man. Eat it raw, Carbon Man. What am I eating? Eat thyself. What? Stop it. Stop. Bob Newhart. Don't be stuck in a box. I dreamed I was stuck in a box. No, you didn't. You just, well, you don't have to be. Get on your own 2 feet. Get out of the box. Be in the light. So, here you go. The hanging tree, or the tree hanging, was determination. And if you think that the lion was happy about the man hanging in the tree, then there was a place called Lemuria, and I know a girl on Mount Shasta who does dry fasting. So, allow me to make my point. Dry fasting. I won't make it. I think it should make itself. Everybody has to make their own bed, right, Admiral? So, what else do I need to describe on this slide to make it more entertaining? Okay, we got to get over to the China side. Kind of did that. Got the Judas part, fish food. Oh, this is a good part. This is a little contrast going on here, because we've crossed over into a different analogy of a more of a draconian. This one is little quisp, little quake, big quake, 3 gorges quake, little pointier, just X marks in the spot, super fluorided out, yet dead on, with balance, because we're talking about yin meeting yang. You cannot deny the culture that's coming at us with communism. I'm going to describe it for you, but we cannot deny the authenticity of a negotiation that must happen. Call it the laws of Melchizedek met comedy night, and the interface indicated when the deal was being worked that JFK said, all right, Marilyn, you know what, let's do 68, and you owe me one, but we'll call it even, and let's have an authentic Peace Corps. So that's a little bit of this. JFK went down. Never heard him say nothing bad about China. He might have known about this. He might have said, hey, let's take a break, and let's just not do this crazy Soviet thing that we want to do. Don't make me a dead Kennedy. Do not make me dead. Don't. I can't even say it. So, the Kennedys are forgiven, as though they need it from us. So let's get focused. Let's get focused proper, Bobby. Come on, Bobby. Come on. You got Georges and Bobbies. So, JFK Jr. talked. He had a magazine called George because of the black CIA that killed his father, and he knew it. And so Donald Trump's a time traveler, and he knew it. And so JFK, who knows? I hope that the light stays true and it's not co-opted. So let's proceed, just so we can understand where China's going. So according to Sam, much like these other manufactured products, these guys have figured out how to do an artificial sun. in their understanding of what's needed. I suppose that it's unprecedented as a opportunity to psyop here on this planet of Earth, where we already know what the sun does for us. If you're awake and you're going to live forever, then you're not afraid of the sun. Now, you do want to stand in the shade, but you don't want to, I'll test myself again, probably, but I won't be stupid about it because I'm sensitive to the sun. But the message we're getting here is that in a Bill Gates kind of imaginary, literal covering of the sun, and figurative, it's you in your box with your combination of social, behavioral, next generation, artificial. They got you in their version of authentic, because they watch you marching in the streets, and they watch, they know who you are, and they have social crediting scores that are not so much tied to your spending habits, but to what you think. So they've gone full TSA on you in China, and they're just going to introduce it as a behavior management system universally with their implementation. And the threat is as real as China is, as far as whether you're going to do it or not, because it'll be presented to you by proxy managed. Look at the way that it works now. It's not like the Chinese Red Army is going to come here and tell you this, but there'll be professionals that can get up on newscasts and explain it to you, whether it's Chinese Americans that believe they understand authentic reporting because it's really happening and you're watching it on TV and so it's true, or because they're missing it. If you're watching the news, you're missing it. If you watch current events and believe in the hokey of the pokey, no matter how hard you try to be educated and be propaganda, counter propaganda, belief in America, in this day and age, you missed it. So you have to discern so heavily what's going on. Discern. So let's continue south. So this is to describe where we're at here. We all understand the hive mind concept. So impose communism on top of that, and the word darkness, or obedience and management, is really hidden from you because the Soviet Union never died. And it's because I know from classified sources that gold management occurred through that blockchain, and North Korea was a puppet deliverer of that to parents that maintain storyboard status over the Kim Illuminated. And that's why Eric Schmidt could defect there after Donald Trump declared the human trafficking problem, because North Korea is a literal fabrication. They do starve people out. That's no problem. I'm sure the food sources in Korea are abominable, and we don't need to know about them, and apparently we don't, but we've heard. So there's passion and compassion and starvation and roles that are chosen to be played because we play them. So North Korea will transform. Hopefully it'll get warmer there, but the ski slopes must be awesome. I don't know, it's a whole thing to think about. So let's examine what's happening further. So the channeling kind of tells us that there's a technical agreement that's been established with the Orion beings that want to do damage This is the fleeting guys. They got run out of the moon. The contracts are over. So now they're in the technical agreement stage, because this is the words that are used with the Chinese, who are still proxied up there on the far side of the moon as sort of the new breed of entitled that are now ahead. They were behind and now they're ahead in the time race of their turn. And we know it. And we left our army in Afghanistan, and I have fellow warriors that aren't giving up. They're with their Aussie mates, and they are not just seeing it until they get taken to their leader and realize, oh my God, it's an extraterrestrial, and then they'll know who they are. Well, that's the point. You need to know who you are. If angels are extraterrestrials, then who are you? You're one step behind, so stand up on 2 feet and play the game properly. So let's talk about what they got in mind. Yeah, because they've done it already. So if you listen to this and you're dead in between the ears, you might be the model, because you're in the box. You took a vaccine that was mRNA'd out of Wuhan, and Trump thinks they did it, or he wants you to think they did it, but he knows who did it. How do you not know who did it when there was Event 201 to manage it? So China's a friend and an enemy for Donald of the McRib, because once there's a McDonald's in a country, you can be friends with them. So go there. But please know that the array of this artificial sun, so let's do antithesis management. If we know that if we, the lit, know light opposes dark, and that consciousness, human essential awareness and being, is projected in rainbow-like light codes of design to wake us up in space. If that's the case, and you are unaware that that's going on, then you're subject to this, because there's quantum computing that's going on, and they're going to put out a product knowing that the contracts are over. All they have is a technical alliance of hive-minded workers that are going to regulate you to make sure that socially the new credit received is what you think. It's not how well you manage your money, it's what you think. And it's complicated by Zuckerberg, who's producing an artificial box for you to walk in and feel good. Med beds are artificial, so they're coming, as is, quantum financial management and all this stuff to make you feel secure as you just settle right into the quicksand of this, knowing that it's all good, because it appears as though we're operating as one, and all the models that are being delivered you can work with, because you'll wear your mask and drive alone in a car when you feel healthy, because that's what good citizens do. So why do we want to do anything bad to them? They are going to pay into the system that's designed to manage their descent. But they're models, because they obey a government. So when you introduce a concept of an artificial sun, Metatron, who is a meter above your head, by the way, Where'd we go? You know, this objective angel of angelic resonance of the beginning, who obeys the Creator to the light side and dark side of resolution, is telling us that he senses. Okay, we've got to slow down here. It's a feeling. And he knows that he can tell us that because it's an artificial sun, that it's a false light. So please listen to these words. That supposedly, you gotta go there. Supposedly, Metatron used this word. Mr. Objective told us. Supposedly 10 times worse than the original sun. Well, 10 times, I guess worse. More powerful, like what? What? I mean, this is an imaginary threat of quantum doohickey. I mean, what are they going to do? French fry your ass instantly as a solution to a problem that people are going to walk into? I mean, we might. People are whatever. Just play a few notes and they'll start moving in the right direction, especially 5G. But there's behavioral models. The real threat is you obeying and being unwitting to the next level of torque down on you. You have to think correctly. You don't want to get kicked off Facebook, so don't say what's on your mind. That's just the beginning of this. This is what the artificial sun is. It's the box that you go into with the dark web access that can replicate the med bed, and you don't ever need to leave your house of sorts, because that's safe, and you don't have to drive out to Mad Max until they pull the plug, and then you have to go survive, and you forgot how to do that because they spoon-fed you here, and you got too urbanized. So you were boxed in an urban area, and then the grid goes down. So it's all that. But the CERN is on fumes. Yet they've used this technology to be a part of this, because they're a team. China's been stealing it. They've been giving it. It's the club you're not in. And there's quantum simulation where, whop, they're trying so hard to be as fast as you, but they can't. Like, you can scratch yourself and be faster than them, because that's who we are. We're human. We are gods. Please understand please understand who you are. You're God. You can recognize a face from wherever, because you don't have to do math. You don't need to do biometrics. You just have a database that's whoop, and they can imitate it. So don't think you're getting away with it. There's authentication, but there's feeling of who's who and what's what. And that's what matters. That's what's going to last, because artificial is going to die. Artificial gets hit by a Carrington sun. An original sun is wiped out. An artificial sun is Carringtoned out, because it's electric energy. It's 440. This can't be. If it's 440, if it's 432, it's just it's not resonating properly. Only to entice you into a place or a med bed that is just gonna lull you to death, because it's not authentic. It's not outside. It's not the real sun. It's not who you're giving gratitude to at that point. You're giving gratitude to fake. So that's why I started with Musk. And Bill Gates went to Wuhan. So blame, if you want to do traceability analysis, go to Microsoft and the introduction of artificial. Because that being that switched out high selves and everything, and adjusted awareness, ended up doing Microsoft and going to Wuhan as Bill Gates. And there's testimony that he was one guy and then he was another guy. But must have been the same something, attaching everything together, because it was transparent to us. And that's why. Because of the computer correlation to the biochemistry and viruses. That's the logical analogy to make about the life of that man who partnered up with Warren Buffett, and they did commercial stuff, and it was, just taking advantage of you, because there's money to be made, and they made it, not you. You watched them, and they laughed at you. And Warren Buffett liked Jimmy Buffett, and they made lots of money, and made good songs. And if you think the Jimmy Buffett vibration didn't coax you into the soul trap machine on the moon just by a feeling, then you missed it, because you don't understand the temptation of a feeling of an emotion that makes you want to do a 5 o'clock thing and just feel good, but you can't, there's somebody's fault. I mean, there's just fault to be had when there doesn't need to be. There's fault, and that's like another blame. Why is there fault? What did we do wrong? Well, we volunteered for it. So it's easy and it's complicated, and you gotta move on with compassion for yourself if you need it, if you can't understand it. So what these guys got in mind is I'm back to Sam's content, they're aiming for Earth life extinction. That's their goal, to terminate everything. And we know Gates wants to do this. He wants to infect the soil with advanced crap so it won't grow biogenetically. And that crap was allegedly on the Ever Given. And I don't know if I've heard it got sludged out into the Indian Ocean, or Al-Sisi got it, or remained on the Ever Given, knowing that Gates was going to get his hands on it to do something with it around the United States, because he bought up all the land in America to just kill us and infect the soil, and we'd be eating fertilizer that we were forced to eat, and just poisoning ourselves in a very slow, deliberate way, because we're Jeffrey Dahmer food to them. So go ghoulish, okay? But not Gould. He's a savior. He's not a ghoul. He's a Gould. There's a difference. Names are important. That man he's at the top of the heap. He's a chief. He's a true chief. He's holding our flag, and we're gonna win everything. So get with it. And as far as this goes, these guys are trying to come up with this Orion star creation mechanism, which is like, please, at this point it's like, please, what the hell are you guys doing? I'm back to like talking to my military leadership who are generals, going, what the hell are you doing? Orion star creation. What a bunch of political bullshit. I mean, that's how they're created. It's politics. It's your belief in an obedient system that should be monitored very closely, because you're not trustworthy. So your behavior, forget about how you spend your money. It's what you say about them, so you can be squashed down into the middle of it. And that's an artificial sun. It's a vortex of you giving into it. And you're supposed to be David and view that as authentic Goliath, and this as an artificial psyop, And that's how the Kopi coached the Agarthans before they came up to Inner Earth and won it. So what we're supposed to do, as I should end on a positive note to my song, how wonderful, to love the Chinese, to love shaking hands after table tennis, to love the art of an authentic Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee. What a great, I mean, come on. Look at what he did. You want to talk about defying reality. That man played ping pong with nunchucks. And I can show you it on video. And if you think somebody CGI'd that, then I got some Anunnaki soup sauce for you to drink. Because he said, be the water. And he looked at you like he meant it. Sharp as a tack, that man, Bruce Lee, the Green Hornet. So, not Bruce Wayne, Bruce Lee. Not Stately Wayne Manor, not a Batcave, Bruce Lee. Zorro. His mask didn't hide nothing. So, authenticity. And to kiss somebody and mean it, because you like them. You don't kiss them to authenticate them, because we're all equal. So there's no reason for it. But the concept of being authentic opposes artificial. So the bravery of a handshake to a person who you don't really know what they're going to do. So they'll either be disgusted and leave under false pretenses in a withdrawal of discontent, which is ultimately the fear of love, because shaking hands would be giving in to them. And if they do, they're going to say something that opposes the handshake with some qualification of an opinion that's not unity consciousness. So it's easy to discern. Once you get lit, you're going more than 51% in your attitude. So I'm cool with I'm already, when I was in the Philippines, I saw what's there. I saw even the brainwashed version of this was freed from the Philippines to come visit the Philippines. These are men from World War I. It's easy to discern. You're going, Lenin was cooking along with Stalin, pre-Stalin, you're looking at. So the timing is easy, but the people are discernible because they haven't been communized. So there's an element of liberation and freedom that was re-hidden in the time. And the actual cities that get buried up, and when you look at the old maps and how things were redrawn, this is not surprising at all that this would be in existence. Because you're talking about the right part of the world, aren't you? If you want to go down and see what's hanging around down there, or up I just don't know enough, but I know proportions, and I know twice the size, and I know what a horse looks like, and I know people who are happy, and I know a man who's saluting back there, you see him. So there's some superior force of humans that this man is participating in Ringling Brothers of the Day. Thanksgiving without the ropes. And this man is free, and he's happy to greet the people. So where were we when that was going on? Well, we're not going to be down here. These guys are, up to their stuff, thinking we're going to be extincted at this stage of the game. They still have this as a goal, and I would hope that the Chinese, the dragons that are tied into this, you're dealing with the likes of Charlie Ward. That's who his counterparts are at this point. And he'll have a psyop. My message is watch Charlie Ward. If you want to be entertained about bamboozling bullshit, here's your chance. Simon Parks, if you want hive-minded on a fine street night, Simon Parks is your link right into this. Quantum financial management. He's a gateway drug, as is Charlie Ward. Those are you two, Mickey and Mouse. Right there. Ask Kristen Ward. Oh, you can't. She wouldn't vax. There's a story behind that. But she told it. He's a human trafficker for the Dragon family that's coming with this. So this is what they're doing with their computing. They're just taking it to the CERN and they're going, please let us try and get them to come to our show. And all we want to do is counter it with love. Because we won't be vaccinated. It'll wear off. We'll wake up. And what are they going to have to work with? When we reinvent everything over here, and we bulletproof our flag and maritime law, the World Health Organization and the one world government of the United Nations will be restructured under non-Georgia Guidestone principles of management. So the wording will be corrected. And it'll accommodate all the Chinese we need. So they won't need to do birth control anymore. And we will all be very happy then. Because maybe that's their problem. Once you get on birth control, how you doing anything for anybody when they're taken away from your family? It's just state management that's very black and white and very non-romantic and very, 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 very sad for human beings to be born into with the beautiful experience that we have in life and to be state-regulated animals. And under a pretense of freedom, no matter which country you live in at this standpoint, because the maritime law has humans off the grid and in cargo containers supporting this blood-driven madness. And I'm almost mad as hell. And I don't wish to take it anymore. Because we should only be giving love and not taking anything but love in exchange. So it must be possible. Ask Kim Gogween. Ask Russell Gould. Ask William McCormick. And then as people come to their senses, they'll say, yeah, okay, I can keep mine and enjoy that too. Yes, you can. And then you'll find where your extra is when you realize, hey, the stuff that we got at home, it's everywhere. So why are we hiding it in our garage? And then you just cut it loose. It's just another way to look at it. It's got nothing to do with bilocation. I'm just trying to nurse everybody off their masks. If you're not sick, it's thinking. Thinking means you wear a mask. You just have to go there. If you think, you wear a mask. And there are those that are already wearing their masks without thinking.